Got it. You're welcome. Sorry for the inconvenience, everyone. We're going to start and get into the meeting, making sure everybody's positioned in the meeting properly. Thank you all for being here. My name is Wayne Waller. I work with the Stakeholder Engagement at DCHA, also the Office of Public Affairs. I am going to be navigating you all through this evening's meeting, along with the assistance and support of DCHA staff. We do want to acknowledge that our Executive Director, Director Donald, is on the line with us this evening. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much. We're glad that you're here. We're anticipating the meeting. We have members of POA here and other DCHA staff members here. We want to present this presentation to this information to you this evening to share with you. Again, we will have a time for a Q&A once we finish the presentation. You have the option of the chat, or we can take you live via phone and or computer, and we'll provide instructions there. We just, in order to move this orderly, we ask that any time that you open your mic on your phone or computer that you at least acknowledge yourself and then wait to be acknowledged, and we'll take your comment and or question. Again, thanks for being here. I'm going to ask Katrina Jeter. She's the relocation project manager from the housing voucher, choice voucher program, to present the presentation this evening. Ms. Jeter, are you prepared and ready?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Waller, for your introduction. Today, we are going to visit a hot topic, the reoccupancy and the priority return for our former Berry Farm residents. So due to this is something that you all wanted to dive into. So what we wanted to do was break it down and explain to you about the reoccupancy and your priority to return. All right. The purpose of today's meeting. In today's meeting, we'll talk about the purpose of the project, give a brief project description, talk about how we're tracking residents, the reoccupancy criteria, and the priority to return. Okay, the purpose, the relocation and reoccupancy plan addresses the procedures for relocating current DCHA residents and outlines relocation assistance that is available to the relocated families. The plan is written in accordance with the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970, as amended URA, to ensure fairness and equity for those temporarily relocated, and developed in collaboration with Berry Farm, Wade residents through a series of meetings from 2014 until 2016. And it is consistent with DCHA's policies. The project description: the former Berry Farm community sat on approximately 26 acres of conventional public housing development totaling 444 units. 432 were townhomes at Berry Farm and 12 apartment units at Wade Apartments. Since October 11th, 2012, a total of 370 families have been identified with the right to return and have been relocated. There were 100 replacement units at Sheridan Station from 2011 to 2015 and Matthews Memorial in 2015. 197 were relocated with subsidies, including vouchers, ACC public housing subsidy at traditional public housing or mixed finance sites, and home ownership. 73 were public housing residents who returned to their redeveloped sites, be it Capper and Highland dwellings. Berry served as temporary housing for other redevelopment properties. Berry Farm will be up to 900 units of new housing. The first phase building will have 108 elderly units and is expected to be delivered next year. Some benefits to the community include parks and green space, outdoor performance space, transit-oriented development, cultural and community center, 500 plus construction jobs over the life of the project, 100 plus permanent jobs, and retail space for resident and locally owned businesses at reduced rents. Tracking our residents. Our relocation team tracks each affected resident who was relocated and maintains a paper copy with the information updated annually. The agency utilizes a database that archives residents' history, such as your contact information, your family composition, your income, recertification, and lease compliance. It is very, very important that as our former Berry Farm residents, in order for us to effectively communicate with you and notify you of our upcoming workshops and information as it pertains to this project, you must ensure that you continue to update your contact information with DCHA. As your telephone numbers may change, email addresses, we utilize every form to communicate, as well as text messaging, emails, and alerts. The reoccupancy criteria. The eligibility date for the resident return priority for Berry Farm residents is October 11th, 2012. It maintains each resident's eligibility so long as residents remain in good standing with your current lease and have not been evicted from public housing or terminated from the Housing Choice Voucher Program. The reoccupancy process and associated assurances are fully committed in Resolution 1606 by DCHA. So some explanation of an overview of what 1606 does. Resolution 1606 and Berry Farm Wade Apartments policies and assurances. In March 2016, the DCHA Board of Commissioners approved and adopted Resolution 1606. R16-06, which outlines additional rights and assurances to public housing residents residing in New Communities Initiative, or NCI developments in the District of Columbia. It establishes a clear date of residents' eligibility for right of return for each community. It establishes guidelines under which residents are eligible to return to their original development or to another NCI development subject to availability. It requires notifications to residents about temporary or permanent relocation be made following the relevant URA standards. It maintains each resident's eligibility as long as they are not violating the terms of their current lease and or have not been evicted from DCHA housing. It bars the establishment of any minimum works or service requirements that are more stringent than DCHA policy, and it bars the establishment of any criminal background requirement more stringent than DCHA policy. It bars, number 7, Resolution 1606, bars the establishment of credit or drug screening.
Ms. Ginger, somehow you.
Yeah.
Everything went dead. Excuse me.
No, I'm here. I'm sorry, guys. I'm reconvening with Resolution 1606. Number 7, it bars the establishment of any drug or credit or drug screening requirement more stringent than DCHA. It permits residents and stakeholders of the community to develop priorities for residents admitted to the community with first priority to former residents. It requires adherence to URA protocols regarding appeals and grievances as of October 11th, 2012. It establishes an intention to work with NCI partners, including the district, developers, and other partners to provide relocation support that meets minimum URA standards. It establishes an intention to work with NCI partners and residents through an inclusive and transparent process to establish return preferences for each NCI community. So what is the priority to return? The priority to return are the factors that determine the order in which newly redeveloped public housing replacement units will be offered to the returning residents with completed application. Who determined the priorities to return? The Berry Farm residents that were affected by the redevelopment and in the redevelopment planning. So, and based upon those resident meetings, the resident priority to return are listed in this order of importance. Number of lease violations, priority given to those with none. Number 2, the number of years living at Berry Farm. Number 3, your family size with preference to families with children under 12. Number 4 is the number of children under 12. Number 5, application completion date, and that's the date the household submits a completed application. And number 6, resident who is a senior head of household. And number 7, former Berry Farm head of households now residing at Matthews Memorial or Sheridan Station. Based on the resident body vote, it was determined that the number of lease violations was the most important factor in determining your priority to return. How will we implement this? DCHA will work closely with the management company to ensure fairness and correctness for residents as they return to the newly redeveloped site by priority. All residents will be required to participate in a resident orientation session. DCHA is committed to the relocation and reoccupancy of all former Berry Farm residents. So again, make sure we have all up-to-date contact information as it changes. So with implementation, following this presentation, you all will receive the actual relocation plan. There will be some future mobility clinics. And if you have any questions or concerns outside of this evening's meeting, you can contact us at transformationplan@dchousing.org.
That concludes your presentation, Ms. Jeter.
Yes, sir. That concludes our presentation.
Thank you so much for that. I know there are a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions in advance. I received a lot of inquiries prior to the meeting. I wanted to give some of our DCHA staff, I don't know if any of our development managers would like to speak before we move forward, or any representative from POA before we open the line for questions. If there are any specific information or talk points you want to share ahead of the questioning, we can share that now if you'd like. Tanya? None? Okay. We can keep moving along. We definitely got, I just want to make sure, I know there's information to share, and some of that may address any questions that may come up this evening, but we definitely can move forward and share information by questions. Again, we have the chat, and we also have you on your phone. If you're on the phone, you can press *6 to be heard and be unmuted. If you're on your computer, if you just simply hover over yourself, your picture, you'll see mute and unmute, and that as well. I can assist you if you need to do that as well. We're going to try to do this as creative as possible, as creatively as possible. So I'm going to go around based on what I see. Hey, Carlos, did you have anything before I started with the Q&A?
Hi, good evening. No, I don't at this time. I think Katrina's presentation was pretty comprehensive. But for those who don't know me, my name is Carlos Gray. I'm a development manager for Berry Farm Redevelopment, along with my colleague Andre Gould, and would also like to acknowledge from POA, from the Preservation of Affordable Housing, Ms. Salinas, who is the development associate there, who works with POA's relocation staff as well, and resident management staff, excuse me.
No worries. Salinas, did you have a comment you'd like to make before we go into the Q&A?
No, I'm okay. Thank you for the introduction, Carlos. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Evening. Good evening.
Okay, we will begin. Yes? Okay. I'm going to move along, and what I see are numbers and names. I'm going to move as I see the names and numbers. Listen for that, and we'll take your call. If you have a question, I am on you now. Your last digits end in 15. First three digits are 240. 15. You are unmuted. Do you have a question?
I don't.
You don't. And may I get your name, please?
Mayusha Joyner.
Thank you for being here with us, Joanna. We appreciate you, Aisha, Joanna. All right, we're going to mute you, and I think is Miss Terry Curry.
Miss Curry,
Yes, Miss
how you
Curry.
doing? Hi,
Well,
everyone. My question is, how do we go by doing the application and uh, to return back to Berry Farms? And also, I wanted to know because I was a resident of Berry Farms, and I got because of the rats that they had in my unit where I was at. I had to get transferred before they gave the vouchers, so I wanted to know will I still be able to return because I am a Berry Farms resident.
I can speak to the priority to return and possibly POA and I can lead into the application process.
Yeah.
The priority to return is for any Berry Farm person who was on the site as of October 11th, 2012. So if you lived on the site anywhere between October 11th, 2012 until the time we cleared the site, you
Okay.
are eligible to return. You have the right to return.
Okay, I think I was there that long, 2010.
Yeah, if you went there anytime between 2012 and 2019, you're in good shape. But
Okay,
that's October 11th, 2012.
okay. I have
Ms.
another question.
Miss Scurry,
Yes.
Miss Watson, how are you?
Hi, Ms. Watson.
Yes, you are in that qualification time period.
Okay,
Yes.
let me.
I am. Thank you, Lord. Oh my God. I was so worried about that because of my emergency transfer, because of the rats. I've been very concerned about that. So I am eligible, Miss Watson. Thank you,
Yes,
God.
ma'am. I'm very
so
familiar with
happy.
Miss Scurry.
So,
Thank
and then to briefly speak up on the application process.
Yeah.
Again, that's where we reiterate making sure all your contact information is up to date with the housing authority. We'll be reaching out to to our former Berry Farms households, keeping them abreast of the upcoming developments. And as we mentioned in the presentation, the first building will be a senior building that we're inspecting next year. So we'll be reaching out to those households accordingly who qualify for a senior building. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, concerns, you can always contact us at the transformation plan at dchousing.org.
Okay, I got one more question. I ain't gonna take it up. I do have a question now. I need to call down housing and update my phone number with them, even though my rental office has my number.
No,
You
I
shouldn't
would
have to.
we have all of your current information in Yardi as long as you've provided it to the management office.
Okay, so even if they don't contact me by phone, they'll contact me by mail, right?
yes, ma'am.
Come on, they said you're coming back. God dang.
stand by.
Hold on, Miss Paulette, calm down.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know y'all
This
can.
Lucy. This Lucy. My real name is
I'm
Miss Scurry.
so sorry. I apologize to you
Don't do that,
all.
Miss Paulette. I'm asking
Excuse
questions.
me. I did not realize I was even on there. I didn't push a button. I just
Oh,
signed in. I
okay.
am so
Okay,
sorry.
Okay, I accept your
I am
apology.
so sorry.
thank you, Ms. Curry, for your questions.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We're going to move along.
I
And Wayne, I
truly
just wanted to
apologize for that.
clarify.
Stand by,
one-
please, Andre.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify
Thank
one
you.
thing that Ms. Jeter said. The senior building, the construction for the senior building will be starting next year. It won't be available next year. We'll start construction next year.
Thank you for that, Andre.
And it'll take approximately about 18 months for that building to be constructed before people can actually move in.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
And also, let's be mindful when we're speaking, acknowledging ourselves. So we can't talk over each other. We definitely want to get to everybody's concern, and we want to have camaraderie on this virtual platform. So it's quite all right, but let's be mindful so we can get clear information and properly share what we have. When I pose the questions, any of the teams from DCHA or POA, if you have answers, you can jump right in and we'll work together and collaborate to get the responses that we need. I think it's Lakeitha Walter. You have a question?
Yes, hi everybody. Not a question, just want to say thank you to everybody who I know had a hand in the redevelopment process, the advocating that I know our elders and some other people did, and us being able to have the opportunity to return to Bury Farms residents. I just want to say thank you to all those who had a hand in it. And hi, Miss Paulette. I ain't seen her in a while. That's it.
Thank you for your comment. Thank you for being here. You are the best part of what we do. So we appreciate that. Next, here is Lalicia. Am I pronouncing that correct? Burdine, Miss Burdine, question for you. She disappeared.
I'm sorry. Wayne, did you say Brittany?
No, Brittany.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Miss Burdine. I was trying to get the name correct. Half I was in the screen. My apology. Moving on to number ending in 23. It's a 202 number ending in 23. Is there a question or comment from you?
Hello.
20223. Question or comment for you?
Just Miss Burdine. I wasn't able to.
No worries. Got a question or comment, Miss Burdine?
Yes, I was seeing if I was qualified too, because I didn't know if I was qualified to come back.
I believe it was between October 11th, 2012. Is that the time period? Were you on site then? If you were there at that time, you were.
I left in 2015. But okay, because I was hearing something. Y'all said something about other places, and then when y'all got the Highland Dwelling, I didn't know if Highland Dwelling people was able to come back to Bury Farms. I'm originally from Bury Farms, but I'm not from Highland. I just want to be here. So I just want to know if I was able to come back.
What we spoke on in the presentation was that Bury Farm was used as temporary housing as Highland was getting redeveloped. So many of the Bury Farm residents returned to Highland once that construction was complete.
Okay.
Bury Farm was temporary housing for them.
Oh, okay. So what do I
jump in
apply?
for a second?
Huh?
I might be on mute. Am I on mute?
Who's this?
Okay, I just wanted one quick question. How are you calling these numbers out for someone to respond? How are you calling them to speak?
Stand by. I'm just going through the screen as I see the numbers. When I get to your number, we'll just call it out and we'll acknowledge you at that time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry, Ms. Burdine, were you finished with your question, or did you need more clarity?
Yeah, I was just saying, how do I apply to come back?
Ms. Watson, can you address that?
Right now, we just need to make sure that we're able to contact you. All of your contact information is current with the Housing Authority. And as the information is dispersed, and as we all need you to come to appointments or come to one of our mobility clinics or a workshop, you'll be notified. Just making sure that your information is up to date is what you need to do currently.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. We'll definitely get to everyone, and at one point we'll just try to go early, but if we need to, we'll make sure we get every question this evening. No worries.
Hi, can I jump in right quick?
Surely. Who's this?
Hi, it's Brenda Donald.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. I've just been listening in because I'm always interested in hearing what is of most concern to our residents. And I just want our team to be very clear with everybody about the timelines for the whole process, because we're sharing a lot of information, but it's not going to, nothing is happening very quickly. And so we just need to be really, really clear that I think the most important thing is to make sure that everybody has all the accurate information, and that you all stay in touch with us and update any contact information. But we really are talking, this is much further down the road. So can somebody just underscore the timelines? As I understand it, the first part of the project will be the senior building, which won't even be ready for 18 months. and construction never happens exactly right. But so we're projecting out for 18 months. So if that's the case, when would the process actually start for the seniors who are eligible to apply? When does that process start? Because I think that's where we need to be really clear and then talk about the other phases.
And Andre, can you address that or?
Yeah, and I'll have Katrina actually back me up on this one, but we typically start getting residents prepared to move into new developments about 6 months prior to that building actually being ready for occupancy. Is that
Yes,
correct,
sir.
Katrina?
Yes, sir. As the building starts to get erect, that's when we start reaching out, going through our list, reaching out to all of our residents, so that we can make sure that you all are abreast of when you need to submit paperwork and what the different steps of the application and eligibility process will be. So we'll reach out far in advance before the building's even finished to our residents to make sure that we have you all engaged. We start with your paperwork. We assist you in the best of ways we can to help you complete said applications so that when the building is finished, we can move you directly in.
So just to be clear.
So just to be clear,
if the building is going away.
Right, the building construction will start in 2023. So 18 months after that will be 2020.
No. The senior building is starting
in 22 next year. Yeah.
Next year, not
So it'll be ready
2023.
in 2023.
Andre, I thought you said we're starting the senior building. It will be delivered around in 2023, right? It's 18. Yeah. It will start next year. That's 2022, and then about 18 months from there. So if things go perfectly, which they never do in construction, just managing expectations. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about a good year out for the senior building if it's 6 months ahead to start that process. So, and then we should look at the other schedules just in broad, terms, because I don't want people sitting around and, oh my God, we had this meeting and you said I'm eligible, which you are. Everyone who's asked so far and who was at Berry Farms in that October 2012 going forward. But I just want to be clear, this is way advanced notice. So I think we need to communicate that too in any kind of follow-up communications. It's good to have early information, but everyone needs to understand that this is a ways off before we're even going to start the process for the first part of the project. It's very exciting, but it's still a ways away.
Thank you.
Hello. I would like to piggyback on that. First of all, I want to apologize for what I said. I did not know I was on mute. My name is Paulette Matthews, and I have a concern. I understand that the senior building is already going to be put into phase. They're already digging and stuff like that. But my concern is the fact that there are other residents, and I would like to also have y'all speak upon the plan in which y'all have for the other buildings or homes that are going to be built. Because when we were going through all of those meetings, and I know Corona then came up and all of that, but it was like the money was there and we're going to put this up. It wasn't like you all was saying now, okay, this is going to be done now and this is going to be done then. We were under the assumption, because y'all kept saying y'all had all the money at that particular time, so y'all said that when the development started and the construction started, that all of this stuff will be at pretty much like at one time, not maybe waiting 5 to 6 years for the other people to move in and things like that. Because as we know, certain people can die. A whole bunch of stuff can take place within 10 or 20 years. So when y'all speak of the senior building, can y'all also think about the other residents who are waiting throughout the District of Columbia to get back? And I'm going to go back on mute. And again, I apologize.
Sure, no worries. Thank you, Ms. Matthews. So can we, team, address maybe the phasing of the other aspects of development after the senior building?
Sure. There's also a multifamily building that's planned as well. We're still in the process of getting all the funding together for that building, as well as approved drawings. We have the funding for the infrastructure for the first phase that will support the senior building along Sumner Road, as well as this building, which will be right next door to the senior building, just the infrastructure. We're still working with our partners at DMPED and POA to put together the final financing for Building 1A as well. And when we have a clearer picture as to when that building will come online, we'll update you as well. But we anticipate it to come very soon after the senior building. It's a 139 unit multifamily building as well.
Thank you for that clarity, Andre. Anybody have anything to add to that?
The only thing I would add, good evening, everybody. I'm so glad to see and hear so many faces and voices. This is Felicia Dawson. I'm with POA Communities, and I have a couple of team members on. The only thing I'll add, and I won't belabor the point because we have a lot of questions, but we want to stay connected to you. And that was the whole purpose of you getting to know the developer early on in the process. We want to stay connected to you while we're waiting. I'm glad Director Donald brought up the timeline, because in that timeline, one of the things that we talked about and was mentioned and that you guys voted on was staying lease compliant. So what we can do is make sure that we're working with DCHA's resident services, outside service providers, stay connected with us. So if there's some things and things that come up along the way, we can stay connected to you, you can stay connected to us, us being the team. We have newsletters, we have regular monthly meetings, and this meeting is an example of the monthly meetings we'll continue to have, along with the clinics and other things to keep you informed. You will not know along the way. But again, just keep in mind, the other thing we talked about was making sure we mitigate get rid of some of those challenges we might be facing, some of us or your neighbors or from Berry Farm that you may know, getting to supports for them while we're waiting. So that I just want to add that little insert. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Felicia. Thanks for that clarity, for the explanation. So it's important to make sure everybody on the line that is concerned about the eligibility, make sure we have your current information on file so we can contact you and move you forward with that. Ms. Matthews, did that address your concerns sufficiently? Ms. Matthews?
I was still asking the question before she got on. I didn't realize that I didn't push 6. I was up here pushing 9. But anyway, I was saying, when do y'all anticipate that everybody that's eligible to come back will be there, that there will be a full community there? What is the estimated time of that? Do you have a clue?
Again, it's predicated on getting the available funding to keep the project moving. The district has been committed to this project by putting in financing to move forward with a lot of the needed infrastructure to move the first phase along. As you can see, they're continuing to do that work and install that infrastructure. It's going to take some time. I'll let you know that now, Ms. Matthews. It's not going to happen overnight, but we'll continue.
I figured that the whole process it's been a long process, and I was just thinking that maybe y'all might have known because y'all are able to tell people, well, I don't know if it was you or if you were even working at the time with the DC Housing Authority or whomever you work for, but that like they had the money, because that was always our question and our concern, because throughout time, it's always been that process where you rush us out, but it takes forever for us to get back in. So that's why I have a big concern about it, since y'all supposedly had a plan and had the money, but that was not true.
Any further clarity on that topic from our team? We'll move on. We can definitely follow up with some of the concerns as well there. We can take questions outside of the meeting at transformationplan@dchousing.org. If there are other questions that are not clarified here, or we don't have updates that we can currently provide, we will definitely provide them as they become available. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Director Donald, for making that point. I'm going to move on through the calls. This is what I'll do, just for the sake of time and kind of expediting the process. If you're on the phone, you can *6 to unmute yourself on the computer, unmute yourself by clicking that and just announce your name and be acknowledged, and we'll take your question and or comment. Any questions or comments? You can speak now.
Yeah.
Your name?
Good evening.
Yes,
Your name,
it's Tawana
please.
I'm unmuted, right?
You are?
Okay, great. My name is Tawana McMickens. I'm calling in behalf of my mom, Genevieve Stevenson, who was a Berry Farms resident for about 50 years or better. So she had received the letters, and this is how we got the information to call for today. So apparently she's already, everyone has all of her information, so that all of the things that I've just been hearing was that next year they'll start the work. It'll take about 18 months, and 6 months before they're moving the people back in, that they would have to fill out an application. And so because they have all of her information, then someone will contact her. At that point, we will give you all the information, and then once the unit is ready, then she'll be able to come and move in. Is that correct?
That is correct, and we'll also be updating her along the way when she'll know when those buildings are coming online, and she can actually reach out herself as well to say that she's interested in moving into the new senior building as well.
Okay, so you said online. Okay, so she's not doing that, but someone will contact her where she could possibly call in, because that's one of the reasons why I'm on the call now, because she said something about it was on Zoom or something. When I tried the WebEx, every time I put in that number 0920, it's not letting me in. So I'm doing the phone right now. But someone will contact her other than her having to go do the computer stuff.
Yes, we'll continue to send stuff through the mail as well as a backup.
Right. Okay. Now this is just a little bit past what the Berry Farm residents. Will you all be accepting other people after you've moved all of the Berry Farm people back in? Will you be accepting other people that were not Berry Farm residents?
Hello.
So the way the priorities are set up, the Berry Farm residents have the first.
Right, that's what I said. After they have already gone in, because I know that they take preference over everything, because this is a Berry Farms thing. Would you, and I'm only asking this because I'm curious. Would you all be accepting other people once all of the Berry Farm residents been placed back into their units and there's more units available? Will you be taking applications for people that were not Berry Farm residents?
Yeah, go through the housing.
So there will be replacement units as well as what we're calling tax credit and market rate units that will be available for other people besides Berry Farms residents. But as far as the replacement units, they'll be offered to Berry Farms residents, and then other new communities residents would get the next offer after Berry Farms residents. So that would be Lincoln Heights, Richardson Dwellings, Park Morton, and that's after all Berry Farms residents had an opportunity to return before we would even get to the next tier.
Right. Okay, great. All right, thank you. I'm sorry, one more question. The senior units, the floors, how many floors would there be? When you're talking about senior citizens, are you putting them in high rises, or would it be like up to 4 floors or 3 floors, or do you know? My mom was concerned about what floor she might be on. Is the reason I'm asking this question, and it just dawned on me before I got off.
God prevent, God.
So the senior building is going to be an elevator building, but it's only 5 floors.
5 floors.
7 floors in this building.
Right. Okay. So much.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Name?
This is Rhonda Edwards Hines.
Hello.
I need some clarity on the redevelopment when it comes to the family multi-buildings, and then when you're going to start building on the townhomes. Now, my understanding, as I was informed, and I know staff has changed dramatically, that once you start building the senior building, 3 months after you start building the senior building, then you start building on the multifamily building. Has that plan changed, or is that still standing? And if so, after 3 months of starting on the family building, would you start building on the townhomes, or are you guys going to start the second family multifamily building?
That's good.
So we're still proposed to move to the next multifamily building after the senior building is right next door to the senior building. It's 139 units. The townhouses would be part of that first phase, but they would be the last part of that phase. And I believe, Ms. Hines, you were part of a discussion where we gave proposed schedule, where we were hoping to stagger each development like 3 to 6 months after each other. And we'll update that as it comes more into fruition. Right now, we're still in the planning stage. We're still putting together the financing for that next building 1A. So
I'm so concerned, and then I have to cut you off, and no disrespect, but when we were sitting at the table, we were also, when I say we, I'm saying the residents, was informed that this project was fully developed, funded. Now you guys are saying that you have to find funding, and by finding funding, can elect.
I'm sorry if you misunderstood the information that was
I didn't
given out.
misunderstand anything. I know how it was given. I don't misunderstand anything. So before you can, when you start the senior building, and I'm saying this so I want my neighbors to understand, we have some clarity that you have the funding to build the senior building. So 3 months into that building, you're going to start the multifamily building, but you still need funding for the multifamily building.
Correct. Okay. And that months was a proposed schedule.
If anybody else has anything, please go ahead.
Ms. Hines?
Yes. Did you ask me a question?
Yeah, did they answer your question?
No, it was not. No, it wasn't. Go to the next question, please.
Thank you so much for your question. Next on the line. Question and answer, just mention your name and your question, please.
This is King. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Fine. I came in 2020, so I was trying to take a vote if I was eligible to come back. That's it.
The eligibility time is confirmed again, I believe, October 11, 2012. Is that correct, team?
I came in 2020, I think.
Yes, sir. October 11th, 2012. Anyone who's on site that day and thereafter, till the property was emptied in 2019 is eligible.
Ms. Jeter? Next question. Name and question, please.
My name is Deborah Moon.
Hello, Deborah Moon. How are you?
It's fine, thank you. I just wanted to know what does housing consider as a senior? What age does housing consider a senior?
Usually our buildings are 62 and up for our senior buildings. And if POA can speak to it to confirm.
So it's actually proposed that this senior building will be a 55 and older.
Oh, okay.
55, yeah, good.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So that is
Mhm.
55 and older, qualifying as seniors for the senior property. Next question, your name, please, and your question. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Hello,
Yes, your name.
my name is Miss Washington. I'm a former Berry Farms resident, also a member of the FTAA.
Okay.
My question to you is, does the time frame tie into the funding issue?
Okay. There's a time frame. And the funding.
Yes, it does. It's imperative that the funding is in place in order for us to move forward with construction of each phase.
Um, I don't know how that could have been miscommunicated, but from our understanding, the funding was available. Um, so for the senior building, you guys said that it would take 8 to 10 years.
No,
No,
18
18
months.
18 months. Okay, okay.
Any further
So,
Okay,
questions?
yeah, I do
well,
have
let's
a
go
further
then.
question. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So what is what is your plan for this funding issue?
The district has continued to be committed to this project, and they've been working with us throughout each phase to move that phase forward. Unfortunately, development does take time, and the district budget is allocated per funding year. So as each project is ready to move forward, there's been funding set aside to help move that phase or building forward. And we'll continue to move in that manner.
Okay, the lady that spoke just not long ago, she was asking for, I guess, someone in her family, and you guys said that, she's in the system and all she has to do is come, and if she's, trying to come back, that doesn't seem a little uncertain. A lot of our residents are asking for something in paper saying that they are, something in writing saying that they are moving back. Is that something that you guys can't provide?
We provided a date of occupancy the last time on the site, and also there was some information to slide. There's some preliminary eligibility questions as it relates to return, the right to return. Did you see that portion of the slide?
It's it seems a little open ended, and some of our residents don't think it's direct enough, so they still have concerns. That's why I was asking.
Sure. We can definitely take those more specifically. If there are more specific situations, we can take that, not to pass that off offline. You can email us directly if there's something specific about that that's not specific enough about the returning, or is that something Ms. Watson or Andre we can address now? Is it something that we need to clarify further, or we should take it back and maybe refine the information?
So hi, it's Brenda Donald again. So we had a meeting. For people who don't know, I'm the new executive director. I've met with some of you, but I participated in a meeting shortly after I got there in early July, and we did a follow. The residents, there were only a few residents, not as many as tonight. So glad that more people are showing up. But that we did a follow-up mailing to everyone. It was my understanding we had already issued letters as part of the relocation package. Initially, that spelled out to everyone what they were entitled to. And some people said they hadn't received it, or if they had, it had been a long time ago. And so it's my understanding that we did follow up with everyone to make sure that everyone had those letters that spelled that out. So one, if we didn't do that, I apologize, and we will follow up, but maybe some people didn't get their letters, and then if you all would let us know if you did not get that letter. I think I forgot what it's called. It's some particular form, but it was basically that spelled out the rights for relocation. And we were going to send that out directly to everyone to make sure that you had that. So if you don't have that, would you please let us know? And I'm not sure the best way to do that, maybe through the project staff, but we are committed to make sure you have something in hand that you can refer to, and you know exactly what that means in terms of your own rights, because we take that very, very seriously.
Miss Donaldson, excuse me, how y'all doing? This is Miss Matthews again. Miss Donaldson?
Miss Donald, Yes, ma'am.
I was actually a part of that meeting, and I would like to inform you that I didn't get a letter. I just thought that they hadn't been out yet. And so therefore, it's probably a lot of people out here that didn't receive that letter.
Thank you so much for letting me know. We will follow up, making a note to my staff to make sure that we have that follow up and that you guys report back to me. Okay, this is really important, and we said we were going to do it. So we will do that. Thank you, Ms. Matthews.
When would that take place?
If you didn't get it, then I'm sure we didn't do it.
Okay. When would that take place? How long we're looking at to get that information as far as?
I have to find out what happened and why it didn't go out, or maybe if it went out to some people and there were some addresses missed. So give me a chance to loop back to the staff who was responsible for that this week. I see no reason why we shouldn't be able to make sure that we have all that out by next week.
How do they not know our addresses? They should know our addresses.
Right. Yes, yes. And that's our responsibility to keep track of everybody. So we have people who are assigned to do that. And we should have those lists. It's very important that we have that information unless somebody has moved and hasn't updated us, but that's our responsibility. So give me a chance to loop back to staff tomorrow to find out what happened, and then to make sure that we follow up, okay?
Okay, I just have
They will, because I think that meeting was like 2-3 months ago.
Yes, it was. And we got a follow-up request via email, and that's when we made sure, I thought I made sure to be clear about the assignments, but this is how we have our checks and balances. And
that's
so
right. Communication is the key.
It
so,
is.
You know, that a lot of people didn't get it.
Yep, I agree. You hear me? You hear from me right here. Thank you.
Just one more thing, and then I'll go. When you guys presented the senior building to us, it was not complete. They showed us just the general area, the lobby by the elevator, and the laundry room, well, the laundry area. But you guys didn't have a complete unit that we could see inside. Has that been done? I'm sorry, could you guys hear me?
Stand by right now.
Could
You're
you
talking
hear me?
about rendering of the new units?
Yeah, in the senior building, when they had the presentation for it, you guys didn't, they didn't show us the inside of the unit. They showed us the general area, the lobby by the elevator, and the laundry room. They said that it wasn't complete. I was just asking, is that design done?
No, we haven't had a complete rendering of the new units done. We'll make sure that that's part of future communication.
Well, you guys are going for our senior building first, so I think that would be good.
Sure, we'll follow up with that, Ms. Washington.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Any other questions we want to address?
Yes, hello.
Yes. That's your question?
I just have a question. How old do you have to be to come into the building?
Question is, how old do you need to be to come back to the building as a returned citizen?
The senior
returned
citizen building, how
resident?
old? Yes.
I believe that is it 55? Confirm this. That's our 55 plus for the senior property.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Hello.
Yes, your name?
Okay, I'm filling in for Ms. Owens. Okay, with Emma Owens. Okay, I have a real good question right now because we're trying to recertify her package for her voucher now. Since DC Housing Authority was not really opening to the public as much, how can she get her recertification done for her voucher? Because it was for 2 years apiece.
We can still do that via we can do that via mail. I can give you an email if you like, and we can get that
give me
done
the
via
email.
mail.
Okay, give me the email while I send the stuff to.
DC Housing AUTH
at UT as in Tom H
A like authority. You just saying
DC.
AUTH.
DC. Wait a minute. DC Housing. What else again?
I'm gonna put it in the chat for you. Check the chat. I'm putting it in the chat for you right now.
I'm not on my WebEx. I'm not live. I'm on the phone. I called in, so you can't put it in my chat.
Okay. DC Housing off.
DC Housing.
AUTH.
I still didn't hear you. DC. Wait a minute. Hold on. DC
Apple,
Housing.
Umbrella, Tom, Harry. DC off. AUTH.
I promise you, I still didn't get you.
I promise you,
like
I'm gonna have to find it. Let me get your name. What's your name?
Okay, I'm filling in with Miss Emma Owens. Okay, I'm just trying to
Emma
fading
Owens,
out when you get.
And she's the resident, Miss Emma Owens.
Yeah, she's right here. I'm trying to make sure she can hear you. You kind of fading in and out.
I'm gonna
so
take
I
this.
apologize.
What property is she on?
Where's she at now?
Yeah.
Ms. Owens has a voucher.
She has a voucher.
Okay.
She's on a property. She's on there with the Hartford Street. It's not okay, so we just need to know how can she recertify for her voucher? That's
we
all.
can do that. I can reach out to her directly. I can look up her information. We can get that information to her.
Okay, but can you try to give me the website again?
I tried to. I need to move this meeting along so we can stay on topic where we are. I definitely have your information and can get that to you. Send the email. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
WWALLER@dchousing.org.
Okay, I got that.
That's my direct email. Send that to me and we'll make sure we process it and get it where it needs to go.
Okay, awesome. Now, also, if you have a 2-bedroom voucher, do you get are you eligible to go into the 2-bedroom townhouses, and how many 2-bedroom townhouses are going to be available?
Can somebody address that?
Or even how many two-bedroom townhouses is going to be on the premises, should I say? That would have been more better saying it.
Is that something we can address now, team?
So we haven't determined the bedroom sizes yet at this stage.
Okay, I figured that. Okay, so I just don't take a shot. Okay, thanks so much.
Sure, no problem.
We'll report back with more details in the future.
Thank you, Carlo. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, your name.
My name is Juanita Vines, and I just want to know, are any of the places going to be with rent to own, or they'll always continue to be subsidized housing?
Question is, any of the properties going to be rent to own, or will they always be subsidized housing?
This is Felicia Dawson from POA. We do have a part of this process, home ownership. And as we progress and move forward, we'll definitely share more information about that. Matter of fact, we've done a couple of workshops just to get people prepared for home ownership now, because there'll definitely be home ownership as a part of the project as we move forward. So if that's what you're thinking, if you know somebody that's interested, start to think about it
No,
and work on that credit.
I'm interested. I'm interested, but if I happen to go into one of the units or whatever, will I still be eligible to get in one that I can buy?
Oh, okay. So I'm glad you said you're interested. Wonderful. So I would say we will continue to roll out. Anybody that's looking to buy a house, we want you to definitely purchase a home. And I always tell people start right now. We've had a couple of workshops around it, but as we build out, we'll know more. So can I just say for you right now, can we take your name, pin by your name, being interested in home ownership? But it is definitely a part of the project. And I'm glad to hear you say that.
My name is Juanita Vines, like Victory, V-I-S.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Cynthia Mack.
Yes, what's your question?
Will there be jobs for the residents once they get back in Bird Farms? Will we be able to apply for jobs on the site?
There are job Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm excited about it. Can you tell? As we progress in the construction, as we progress, as we roll out the project, there is always opportunities for some employment. Please reach out. DCHA has a team, the Section 3 team that they work with. Tanya Phillips, who some of you may have heard from, she's reached out about jobs. We will always keep you abreast. There's always some type of employment opportunity. And I will tell you, on construction, even if it's not necessarily on the Berry Farm site, Section 3, and tell me if I'm wrong, Carlos, but Section 3, the team there always has some other opportunities for employment for public housing residents, but definitely Berry Farm and Berry Farm residents want to return to the site. So absolutely.
I have just the first time y'all reached out since maybe last year about the relocation program. So I wanted to know, because I'm a senior and I was just still looking for something to do. So if the opportunity comes, I want to go to work.
Well, I love it. We love it. Did you tell me your name again?
Cynthia Mack.
Okay, and what we can do is circle the wagons on your information. I'm looking at Ms. Watson. I know we can get to Ms. Cynthia. We'll circle the wagons, and Tanya will reach out to what we know we have right now, and then whatever else is coming up. And remember, DCHA's Resident Services has some connections to employment as well.
I was going to say that again, Brenda Donald, that just as you're our residents now, we have employment programs, and it's our responsibility through our case management services to link you to opportunities now, so you don't have to wait. That's something if you're interested and able to work, there are lots of opportunities, and we do have family self-sufficiency program, our resident services, and we're going to be expanding that. So you don't have to wait. It's great that we'll have jobs, and so as we have commitments as part of the Berry Farm project, but you do not have to wait. If you all are residents and you're interested, then we should help you do that. So please let us know. If you have a case manager, let your case manager know. If not, just in terms of the follow-up information. And the same thing for the home ownership, interest in home ownership. I really don't want us to do it based on one or two people who raise their hands now. We should have more of an effort, outreach to understand who's interested in home ownership. There's a whole long process of helping people to get there. So that's something we could be working on now as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we will be incorporating some financial literacy classes also to help prepare residents from a financial perspective. For home ownership. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just to piggyback on what Ms. Dawson was saying, we are actively engaging our team right now with our Section 3 program and planning out how we're going to provide opportunities for the residents on the Berry Farm redevelopment site, as Director Donald said, there are available jobs now and opportunities now outside of Berry Farm through our resident services department. And then also, looking forward to post lease up of the ground floor commercial spaces, we will be working with our partners who will be commercial tenants to hire residents and provide opportunities for them as well.
terrific. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Felicia. Director Donna. Any other questions? 4-3, you're unmuted. Yeah, you just muted yourself.
Yes,
Looks like-
I have another question.
Yes.
If you wanted to move, I don't know if you all are the people that I would direct this question to. Maybe y'all can give me the number or something to who I can direct this question to if y'all can't answer it. But if the size unit that I have now, if I was to move my grandson in here with me, would I have to let you all know as far as that I would need additional room other than the size unit that I have now? And y'all having the information on what I have now?
So that will be part of the evaluation process, for the returning residents, for head of household and who the dependents are in the house, so that we can, right size the unit and accommodate you accordingly.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I do have another question. Do you all have any disability units that are available for people?
Alicia?
There will be some ADA units available in the senior building, which is the first building that we're delivering on site at Berry Farm, which is
But not
dedicated.
the senior building. In the other, I'm talking about the other one in the other building, because I am a senior now, but my daughter lives with me, and I was going to put my grandson who's disabled on my lease. I was going to add him on my lease now because I was misinformed back before, because I've been a resident of Berry Farm for 25 years, and I was directed that because I don't work, I'm a 10-month employee, and I don't work in the summertime. So when I wasn't working in the summertime, I was directed to remove one of my children from off my lease, which is my daughter who has a disabled son. And right now they don't have anywhere to stay. So I was going to put my son add my grandson back to my lease because he is disabled. But I want to know, how do I go about doing that?
We're not quite,
because they misinformed me and told me that I could take her off because at the time they said that she would still have to pay money even though I wasn't working in the summer, being that she was on my lease along with my other daughter, her and her son. So I removed her, so my rent went down to zero in the summer, then it went back up when I started work. But now they're off my lease when they was on my lease.
And I suggest that the team, that we take her name, and I know someone in operations team can respond to her specific question. But I just want to say that, and tell me if I'm wrong, Carlos and Andre, but we will have, and to your question about units for disability or disabled individuals, they will be a part of the phases as we roll them out.
Yes,
We will always have them. They are required. So we will always have them. But your specific question, I think the operations team are pretty good at kind of helping you through that. But we got to make sure we got your name and number.
Okay, my name is Juanita Vines, and
Okay.
my phone number. You have my phone number?
Yes. We don't want to share it here because this is recorded.
Okay. So somebody's gonna reach out to me, or you all have a number that I can call someone?
We'll reach out to you.
We'll reach out to you.
In like what kind of time frame?
48 hours.
Okay. Now I got one final question. So is it fair to say that all of this will be finished within the next 10 to 20 years?
We would like to say so.
That's a good.
But 10, which one, 10 or 20? Because with it being 18, I mean, I'm 60 now, so I'm just saying, I'm just looking at like, will I be 70, 75?
Yeah. We're going to be delivering different housing products, in various phases. And as Mr. Gould mentioned earlier, our ability to deliver, the phases are predicated on our ability to finance them with the help from the city, which has been an amazing partner with us thus far, and also market conditions. But we are planning to deliver these phases of housing that include the senior building, various multifamily buildings across the site, a 2-acre park, and also numerous townhomes for rental and home ownership. We want to deliver these as quickly as possible. So market conditions and financing, allowing, we're going to be delivering as quick as possible without delay.
Okay.
So we're
What
trying.
is a multifamily building? What kind of building is that?
A multifamily building is another name for an apartment building. That
Oh, okay.
contains multiple
Okay.
families
Oh,
in one
okay.
building. Yeah, just another name
Oh,
for an apartment building.
okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vines. We'll reach out to you with more information.
I actually
Okay. Thank you.
I have an aerial view, aerial map that I can share with the group if you just like to take a look. I mean, we were wanting to save a good bulk of the presentation that covers, the project and project updates for our next meeting. But I mean, I could share with you an aerial view of the rendering for Berry Farm for those who may not have seen it. We, during our previous meetings throughout the summer and the spring, we used this aerial map to showcase what the future site of Berry Farm will look like. So some of you may have seen it before, but I could do a screen share if.
Oh, I'm on the phone. I couldn't get it on my laptop. I couldn't get connected with the laptop, so I had to dial the number.
Okay, no problem.
But can I just say, Carlos, and I think we've talked about this before, please keep coming to the meetings.
Yes.
We update on the redevelopment plan. We show the plans. We show what the site will look like. And I hear the trepidation or fear and concern about the timeline, but I'm sure our team here at POA, who've done multiple development deals, as has the Housing Authority, that are phased over time, we don't see any type of problem. There is a timeline because beyond our control, the timeline has been challenged to date, but we want you to stay connected to us, to stay connected to the progress, and know that we will move like we do to make sure we build a unit. So just hold on, but keep coming back to the meetings because the meetings will keep you informed, up to date. I believe Katrina mentioned that she's going to be sending out, or the team is going to be sending out the relocation, the reoccupancy plan, and that's going to have the 1606 in it. So just more information that you can get. And if you have, we'll have mobility clinics in the future to talk about your specific situation. But just stay connected to us as we roll this out. I'm so glad to hear people want to come back because we want you to return. As of that, if you've lived on Berry Farm as of that date, we want you to return. And as Director Donald said, don't wait. There's a lot of stuff happening right now with DCHA's services that they offer. POA connects to other service providers that have a myriad of services out there and resources. You just won't be sitting idle. Like my mother used to say, idle hands. You won't be sitting idle. We got a ton of stuff for you to connect to and get into. Just stay connected to us along the way.
And please
Keep
encourage
you informed.
Please encourage your neighbors from Berry Farm to join us as well. We really want to have great turnouts at these meetings so we can communicate all of the updates and information that you want and need to hear.
I see a question. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, I have questions and I have concerns. My name is Paulette Matthews. First of all, we know that communication is the key and knowledge is power. The problem that I'm having is that throughout this whole process, we have been told many different things. And as time goes on, I'm hearing people ask about the when and where, and I was also one of those as well because of all the meetings that I've attended, all the things that have been said, all the questions that we have asked, and how we were pretty much going around the mulberry bush and still leaving out of meetings, still just as discombobulated as we were in the beginning. And so I still had those concerns, and it's sad to say I have more fear of y'all than Corona because of the mere fact of what has been said, what has been told. And when we sit here and we talk about timelines, we got to also be ever mindful of some of the projects that have been done, like, for instance, Arthur Capers or whatever, where y'all have not completed things, and how y'all know that y'all haven't completed things and how y'all look for funds, whereas though y'all know that previous projects have not been completed. Y'all say, don't sit here idle-minded. We're not, because we're concerned, and we also come to these meetings and everything, and all that type of stuff. So I'm just so concerned and bothered by that. And at the same time, we also know the history of it is like 10 or 20 years before you can come back. Again, as I stated before, a lot of people can die before then. And at the same time, there has been a lot of miscommunication of how to do things. Even that situation with someone being taken off the lease, I had that situation as well, still misinformed. So I'm still concerned about all of these matters. And day by day, we sit here, we try to figure it out, and we're not idly sitting by. We still have to go on with our lives. And do the best we can, because survival is also the key of this process as well, even though a lot of times we get stressed out. And at the same time, I believe that it's more people, I don't know why they didn't call in or why they wasn't on the computer, and maybe it's because they didn't get the information. Because the DC Housing Authority knows where they placed all of us, it's a such thing as coming into the trenches, and y'all workers start going door to door to those people's addresses that y'all have placed in the relocation so that you can know for certain that they got it. Because the mail has been a problem. There's been a lot of problems and a lot of delays, and then there's a lot of people again who want to know all this information and we can't get it. And I've asked several times, and I don't know how it's really going to be done appropriately, that we all either have to come to Berry Farms Recreation Center before the snow sets in or something, so that, and the people have to get the information. So that means door knocking, I think, to the residents that y'all know where we at, even the people with the vouchers or whatever the case may be, so that we can all be in one room and get this clarity together, because it has been a complete nightmare. And I'm done.
Thank you, Ms. Matthews.
Well, I'll just say we are making some significant progress. We are, in order to support the massive new development, which will incrementally increase the number of housing at Berry Farm. Infrastructure is needed. It's an important component so that the wet utilities, dry utilities are able to properly support all the new housing. And the way that we have the property designed, there are multifamily buildings along Sumner Road, which include the senior building there, which we're looking to move with those phases first, which will return a lot more residents at one time from these multifamily buildings. But we're making a lot of progress with the infrastructure. We are approaching halfway done, and it's a necessary step for us to move forward with the senior building, and then follow with building 1A, which is the multifamily building, which will be on the western side of the Berry Farm Recreation Center. So, our plan was to address the needs of the most vulnerable returning residents first, which would be our senior population, and to construct a beautiful building for our seniors to return to at ages 55 and up. And then follow that with a multifamily building and position those right next to an active place at the Berry Farm Recreation Center, and then start to develop, south from there with more multifamily buildings and a 2-acre park in the center of the development, as well as townhomes throughout the eastern side and the southern side of the property. So I think I've heard many of the many folks say that, you know, maybe it was communicated that there was funding upfront for the entire deal. I think there was a misunderstanding of some sort. I think there was a misunderstanding. You know, the phases of development are predicated on, you know, our ability to finance them. And we're, again, working with the city, you know, to deliver these projects as quickly as possible. You know, so we're working hard to make it happen, and we want to get you home as soon as possible. And that's important to all of us at DCHA and at POA.
Absolutely. Any more questions or comments from the
Was that addressing my statement or what? Because like that right there, I was still baffled by that as well. Because like it really wasn't that we misunderstood. We heard because we asked that question like several times, and it was due to the fact, I guess, of y'all supposedly having that money, whether it was you or whomever, that it was so easy to remove us, and we were so willing to go. So with all that being said, I'm still like blah, 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 because while we were living there, they were digging. Pepco was out there. I don't know if that's what you were meaning by infrastructure, but there's always a plan. And so they know where the pipes run and this, that, and the third, and the power. I mean, that's just something that Pepco, transportation, and all of them do. That doesn't have anything to do with the fact that we were told that the money was there for us to be able to move. I've already know that it takes a while for us to get back because the history shows it takes 10 or 20 years. And again, a lot of us could be dead before we actually return back there. So all of this sounds good. And I appreciate the effort, but we need to really just keep some of this real and stop taking people around the mulberry bush. And that's just basically happened to us throughout all of these meetings. And we have to adjust to everything that takes place because of our situation and our circumstances. But at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the day, truth should come out because it involves other people's lives and not yours.
There was a planning grant that we received that, you know, assisted with the planning for Berry Farm and relocation, you know, services. Maybe that's what you were referring to, you know, and that was helpful in jumpstarting the, you know, the redevelopment efforts for Berry Farm, you know. But we look to various sources of funding to finance these projects. From various places. So perhaps you were referencing the planning grant that we had and used to jumpstart the project and relocate residents. But overall, we're, you know, presently we're moving. You know, the infrastructure, like I said, is an important component to the future, to support the future, you know, developments. You know, we're moving, you know, on schedule with the infrastructure project, and you know, we have some financing that we need to close on, you know, for the senior building and also for the future development. So we're working towards our goal to deliver the housing that we promised, and we're going to get you home as soon as possible. I hope that helps.
Excuse me, sir. What's your name? And at the same time, you say you're working on it, so you don't have any designated time far as these funds that you've been working on that I guess y'all should have been working on ever since y'all started asking us to leave? And what's your name, sir?
Hi, my name is Carlos Gray. I'm a development manager, and I'm a development manager at DCHA, along with Andre Gould, who was speaking earlier. I actually grew up in Southeast DC.
That doesn't help.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're committed to take all these concerns into consideration, make sure we over communicate and clarify if we've not been as we move forward. I want to move to bring a close unless there's some more questions and or comments from staff at DCHA, Director Donald or anybody wants to address anything before we leave.
I'm sorry, Mr. Waller, there was a question I didn't see it in the chat, but there was a question about who's the contact person for jobs. So I would say that there could be two. I would start with Ms. Sandra in section 3, and we can get her your name. And I think that question, I see who it's from. Or you can always contact Tanya Phillips, who works with section 3. But and then there's a third component, which is resident services and DCHA. There's a couple of people, but I would say Ms. Sandra in section 3 or Tanya, and we can give you that number right now. I'm looking at Tanya. Can you say that number real quick? You're on mute, Tanya.
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tanya Phillips, Community Impact Manager for POA. My phone number is 202-809-8369. You can call me or text me and I'll return your call about jobs.
And she works with DCHA's team as well as any other service provider. So we can definitely connect. Sorry about that, Mr. Waller. I just want to make sure we address that.
I appreciate that. Thank you for catching that. I want to make sure we address those concerns before we leave the call. And again, if there are other questions that we did not address or clarify or they come up, we're taking them at DCHA every day at 202-774-2747. That's 202-774-2747. Spoken with several residents there at that number. That is the voicemail for DCHA. Call there and leave your information and we'll return the call. We'll follow up within 24 hours to address your concerns and make sure we reply to you. I think that's all I have. Anything else more, team?
Do your resident managers have that number to give to the residents as well that might not be on this call or on a computer?
Yes, it's in the documentation we sent out.
Okay. So
Wayne, I do want to add something.
Sure.
Okay. Hi. So we are, please expect to hear and receive notifications from us in various forms, from letters to text messages, and also emails about upcoming meetings. We are, our intent is to, provide you with as much up-to-date information as possible, especially with project updates, so that you feel more comfortable about the process and where things are. We're not, we don't want to leave you in the dark at all, but we want to consistently, keep you informed. So that's very important to us. So we are going to be sending out text messages, going to be emailing you, and also sending out letters about upcoming meetings. And we hope to see you there. Please encourage your neighbors and your friends who are at Berry Farm with you to please attend as well. And we look forward to talking to you again.
That is all. Thank you all for being here, everyone. Thank you for being here this evening for DCHA, Director Doc.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello, this is Ms. King. So you will reach out to the ones that is to be able to come back as well when it comes down to that point, right?
Yes, as long as you're eligible and you fit in that time period, we'll reach out. We have you on our contact database information, and we'll reach out to you directly.
So I wouldn't know because, I'm a Berry Farm resident, so I get that.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said I am a Berry Farm resident that was living in Berry Farm.
Okay, and you received a mailing or a text message, you received communication from DCHA, correct?
Yeah, because that's how I got the flyer, because y'all sent it in the mail.
So you're on our list.
Yes.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you being here. We'll see you at the next meeting.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. If that's all, and I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you. Director Donald, did you have anything before we go? Thanks for being here. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. I've learned a lot, and I can commit to better communications and trying to get on top of some of the things that are frustrating. But I really appreciate everyone's commitment and your advocacy. We'll get there. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care of yourself and have a great evening.
DC Housing Authority meeting.
Okay, I know we will, Ms. Matthews.
I
Keep us
forgot
on our
this
toes.
month.
That's good. You keep us on our toes. It's the right thing to do. Thank you.
All right. Everybody enjoy your evening.
Thank
You
you. Bye-bye.
too.
The
You
rest of your
too.
week.
You too.
Good night.